Hey guys, Justin here. I get asked all the time for tips on how to go solo backpacking. And today I'm embarking on a 2-day, one night trip where I'm gonna be heading up the valley up there. And I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of what a day in the life of a solo backpacker's like. I'll talk about food, safety, logistics, and just kind of talk about what my feelings are like throughout the day, because it's definitely different than going out with a big group. And then stick around to the end because this trip is actually a through hike, so I'm not gonna be finishing where I'm starting. And I have a really cool way that I'm gonna be getting back to my car and back to the parking lot at the end of my second day. As I'm hiking along here, I realize it's probably a good time right in the beginning here for me to talk about redundancy and navigation, because I just hit this spot here and there's about 6 trails that all converge at this one spot. And if I didn't know where I was going, I could go down any of these trails and get lost very easily. And I think one of the things that we may get complacent with when we're hiking in groups is that there's always that double check. When you're by yourself, you don't have that double check. So it's important to make sure that you have all your maps ready to go, maybe a track on your phone downloaded that you can follow, as well as having paper map and compass. This is a scenario where I think a paper map and compass could come in handy. So as we look, let's talk about redundancy a little bit more. Another place where redundancy is important, I think, is with water and with cooking. If you are cooking all your food, maybe having an extra stove might be good. And if you're filtering water, then having some tabs or some other way to get clean water, I think, is a very important thing. I always keep tabs in my first aid kit, so if I do run into problems with my filter, I have about 15 liters of water ready to go just with tabs. It's berry season. Berry season means bears, and I'm very aware of bears today. I have my bear spray with me, and I picked a trail that's fairly busy, even though I've only seen one person today. There's a few other people coming up behind me there, which is good. And something that I also purposely did was pick a trail that's nice and wide. You can see that this is a big, wide road, and this is gonna be the case for, I don't know, probably about a third of the trip. And then I get into the Spray River Valley there, and that's where I'm gonna have to be really careful, because the bears have come down out of the mountains and they're in the valleys. They're feeding on berries, they're feeding on roots, and I'm just gonna have to be very careful. The trail narrows up a bit there, so I'm gonna be calling for bears, and just being aware of that. Wildlife and bears is one of the number one concerns I hear from people when they say they are a little bit hesitant to go solo backpacking, and it's a legitimate concern. But it's important not to let the fear overcome your sense of adventure and getting out there. And while it's important to be bear aware and safe while in the backcountry, it's also important not to let your fear take over and let it control what you're doing and where you're going. So while I'm aware of bears, and honestly, there's a little bit of fear there, and that's healthy, I'm not gonna let them keep me from going backpacking, and I'm not gonna let them keep me from going backpacking solo. Hey, bear. So I don't think we're gonna be hitting too many views on this trail, and I'm okay with that. One of my favorite things about solo hiking and going on these solo trips is that I kind of just get to be mindful, meditate a little bit while I'm hiking, clear my head, and it's really nice. I find that if I'm just hiking through a forest, I can really get into that mindful state quite easily. Whereas if I'm hiking in the Alpine, traversing some areas that have really nice views, then I kind of get enthralled by the views, and that's fair. The views are really nice, but sometimes, like after the last couple weeks, work's been crazy, so I really needed this hike, and I think that's one of the beauties of solo hiking. So if you're thinking of solo hiking just because you can't find anyone to go with, that's great, and I do that a lot as well. And if you normally go on group hikes, maybe go out, try a solo hike. I think you might really enjoy it. There's definitely a different vibe when you're out there by yourself, and it's a good feeling. I really enjoy it. Maybe not be for everybody, but for I think most people, I think you'll definitely get something out of solo hiking. I'd be lying if I wasn't thinking bear ambush as I'm walking through this trail. Made it to camp. Got the sign here for food storage. So here's the map of the campgrounds. We're right outside 5 right here. Bear hangs up here. I think I'm gonna take number 2. A little close to the bear hang. I think maybe a nice little view there. Got camp all set up for the day. Woohoo. So I got to camp pretty early, and that's one of the downsides with solo hiking is when you're with a group, you bring your company with you. There was only one other campsite booked when I booked this campsite last night. We'll see if they show up. I say 50-50 chance that I'm here all by myself tonight, in which case I brought some books on my phone, so I'll read those. Otherwise, I'll go to bed early, get a good night's sleep. But camp life can be a little bit boring if you're solo hiking and you're not crushing a lot of miles. Today was a pretty easy day. I got into camp at 3 o'clock, so what can you do? At least I have beautiful views. I'm gonna go hike and get some water. It's a little bit of a journey. Everything at this campsite, it's not a great campsite. Everything is a little bit of a walk. It's like a couple hundred meters between everything, so I'm gonna get a few extra steps in today. Well, it's dinner time. It's early, but might start raining here. It's raining a little bit right now, so we're gonna try and get eaten really quick here. Got a mix of potatoes, bacon, and peas and carrots. It's all mixed up, ready to go. Looking pretty good. I think the bacon will be a nice little touch. It's pretty tasty. A little bit of a hack. I added dried soup base from Bulk Barn into this, and it adds a lot of flavor. Mostly salt, but still really tasty. It's gonna be pouring in a second here. Well, it started raining. Tucked into my Lanshan one person tent, trekking pole tent. Not super spacious, but pretty good. I'm comfortable. And just gonna ride this storm out. Hopefully it stops raining right before I want to go to bed. Raining, now we're getting a little sunset. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and head to bed. Good morning. It's pretty late in the morning. I haven't been waking up super quick, but that's because it's really cold. It got down to about -5 degrees Celsius, or I think that's 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I track it on my watch here with a little temperature pod that I put outside. And there's also a ton of condensation, so even though my quilt is rated to that temperature, it definitely lost a lot of loft with all the condensation. I think let's see here. And I think I'm probably gonna wake up now and get the day going, have some breakfast, and then hit the trail. All right, we're all packed up. Time to hit the trail. Got some nice views today, and it's a beautiful, super sunny day, so this should be good. Another nice thing about hiking solo is that you get to be on your own schedule. This morning, I felt like sleeping in for an extra hour, so I did. I didn't need to worry about pissing anybody else off by doing that. And then as I hike today, I'll get to go at my own pace, go as fast or as slow as I want to, stop and smell the roses. Like in this valley right here, I'm gonna just take my time and just enjoy the sights. Whereas if I was with some people, they may just want to power through and get to the car. I know a lot of people on the last day of a trip, they just are like a horse to the barn and they're just go. But I like to stop and smell the roses, and hiking solo kind of allows me to do that, but then also get into a really good groove and hike fast sometimes. So we made it to the turnoff to head up to Burstall Pass. So we made it to the top of the pass. Super awesome views all the way around. Let's give you a pano. So the next step is to head down this valley here. You can see the trail a little bit right there. Head down over there to the end of the trail, and then when we hit the end, I got to get back to my car, which is 20 kilometers away at the trailhead. So stay tuned for that and how that looks. So the rest of the trail is pretty nice, well traveled, packed down pretty good, and is mostly downhill. So I'm just gonna run the rest of this trail out back to the parking lot. It to the parking lot. It's over there, done with the trail. Problem is my car is 20 kilometers away, maybe even 30 kilometers away actually, and I don't have a group to set up a shuttle with. So normally if I was doing a hike where it started at a different point that ended, I'd set up a shuttle with the group that I'm at. You could also try and hitchhike, but that's not always super reliable, especially in these times. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab something that's in the forest right over there, and I'll show you what my plan is. Alright, so this is my folding fat tire e-bike from Rad Power Bikes. They sent this to me and I was like, alright, awesome, I'm going to be able to use this for a whole bunch of different things. One of them is being able to shuttle myself on through hikes. So I'm going to hop on, kick it back to my car. Made it back to the parking lot. This thing motors. I would not have been able to do that drive without this bike. If you want to see all the gear I brought on this solo trip, I'll post a link to that right up there. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.